As we're back, we're on our oak piece, and I think we may have said in the beginning when we first got the pieces, this top was a tiger oak because it's got this striping like a tiger that you can see in it. It's much more proficient or prolific when you see it in the stain on it, because it really makes those stripes show up. But as you can see, our bleach, we brought it outside because we wanted Mr. Sun, that good old Florida sun, to really bake that bleach on it, so you can see how it's lightened it up. And you remember that area that was over here that was much darker than the rest of it? See how it's starting to blend in now and be the same color, so it's getting more uniform. And so we're now, while this thing is good and toasty, we're going to go ahead and put some more bleach on it. Be careful, you don't want to splash this on your clothes, because then you're going to have some good memories of when you did this. See how quick it's, and you want to put this on real generous. Just don't let it drip down the sides, because you don't want it to get on the finish that you don't want it to get on. So now we're just working it in. Be sure and get your edges. Really liking how this darker area is lightening up, so it's gotten more uniform. All right, we're back for part, 3, I think it is, for this. Now, we have put, we did about 2 or 3 different coverages of our bleach on the top. We took it outside for 2 reasons. One, that Florida sun helps to expedite, and it also burns the bleach off quicker too. So notice now it's much more uniform than it was after we got through sanding it and doing that acetone wash on it. And now we're ready to do, what we're going to do is cerusing wax on this, because we want to keep it, one, the wax helps to seal the wood and give it protection, but it also will keep the coloring on it, because we don't want to just leave it raw, but it'll also help us keep the coloring close to the same. And so first thing I want to do, since we use bleach on it, you know, anything liquid will raise the fibers of the wood. So we want to knock those fibers down. So we're just going to take our 220 sandpaper and lightly go over it. Now when you sand, go with the grain on that. I'm not using much pressure at all, just enough to knock the whiskers on it, because we've raised the whiskers on the wood. And then lightly go around this edge. We don't want to neglect our edge. Then we'll take a clean rag and we'll just wipe any sanding residue off. Now we're ready to wax. I'm just going to take a clean cotton rag. We're going to use our cerusing wax. Some up, and we'll just start. We're pushing it down in the grain. Notice I am going across the grain because I am pushing the cerusing wax down in the grain. And the best way to do that is to go against the grain. So that will leave some wax down in that grain. we're back, and we finished applying the cerusing wax to the top. And if you'll look, you'll see how it's still got this nice light, very light, almost natural color to it. Of course, some of the wax has gotten down in the grain, which is okay. Now we've let it dry about an hour, and we're ready to buff it. And I'm just taking a new clean cotton rag, and I am going through and just buffing this up. And you remember our deep scratches here? What I did, I came back while the wax was still wet, and I took my rag and I just went in these gouges and got out some of that cerusing wax so that it wasn't so pronounced. So that way it just kind of blends in, it's kind of camouflage, it's not really standing out. But now we've got some protection, and we're ready for the next chapter. And what we're going to do for the base, we're going to use the one-step paint. We're going to use our Italian silver, and we will paint the base. And notice the lovely hardware that we've got on here that needs to go. So we're going to take the hardware off. We will fill the holes if necessary, and we're going to put some of those, I call them that French cup kitchen farmhouse hardware on here to replace it once we've painted it. We'll leave this bottom open, and we're going to show you a surprise with that. Hey guys, we're glad you're back, and now you've seen what we've done to that top. We stripped it, we bleached it, and then we put the cerusing wax on it. So now we've got that very popular bleached wood look. Again, this was tiger oak. Then we've just got regular oak that's got some type of stain and finish on it that we're going to paint. But to really update this, we're going to do a couple of things. One, as you see, I've started pulling the hardware off, which is just had some threaded bolts going through and a couple of nuts that were holding it on. Reminds me of us, a couple of nuts. And so I'm taking that off. And the miracle of miracles, when I went to the hardware store, not only did I find the hardware I wanted for this, the pulls, but the screws are the same distance as the others were. So I'm not going to have to fill these and re-drill. I can use the existing holes to put that on, and that's going to be really nice. And for our bottom, as you remember, the two doors had been pulled off and were laying in there. Rather than use those, we're going to take our putty knife and we will remove that stop. That was the door stop. We'll also take a screwdriver and move that hook that was used to hold the door in place. And then, as the final, we will have our baskets to go in, and we can use that instead of our doors. But before we can paint this, we've got to fill the screw holes that were holding the hinges to our doors. So we'll use a wood filler, and we will fill this, and looked like this took a pretty good beating. Some wood got ripped off. So again, we'll use the filler to fill that, fill our holes. I think there's some more screw holes on the side. And after we fill that, we'll sand it out, and we'll be ready to clean this and paint it. So here we've got our wood filler and a putty knife, and we'll go in and we'll start building that up. So you see we've gone in and we've built out that corner, that edge. And I want to put a little more than I really needed so that I don't have any divots. Sometimes you have to do it twice after it dries, which this is going to take about 2 hours or longer because we've got a fairly thick area that we've built up. And then you'll see we've got some more screw holes down here. Okay, so we're back and we've let our wood filler dry and we've started sanding it, but before we got into the final sanding, just wanted you to see, you remember there were screw holes where the hinges were, plus we had a pretty good piece of wood that had been broken off from the hinge at some point. And so we want to go in, we want to sand this by hand. We don't want to use an electric sander all the way through, because what will happen is it'll start sanding the wood filler and reshaping it, and we don't want to do that. And we want to just take our sandpaper and come in and see how this is starting to move. And we want to take all this excess off, because if we don't, when we paint it, it's going to show up where that filler is as a kind of a lump. So we're just taking this down. You can start seeing our holes where the screws to the hinges were. And where this is, I'm hitting this corner just a little bit. And the reason I'm doing that, I'm softening that corner, because if it's too sharp and it gets hit, it'll chip that wood filler off. So I'm just lightly softening that edge. And then I'll do that to the other pieces, other areas, so that we don't have any excess wood filler when we do our painting. Then once we finish that, we'll go to our clean slate. Now our clean slate is formulated. It is a furniture cleaner. This is not mineral spirits. It is not paint thinner. Those have a petroleum base to it that is oily, and so what will happen is that oil will actually prevent the finish from adhering to the surface. The clean slate is formulated so that there are no surfactants, there's no oily residue, so after we get through cleaning the wax and the grease and the grime from over all the years, it's not going to leave a residue, and so our finish will adhere to this much better. All right, and we're back, and here we are with our little chest again. If you remember, originally we've got 2 drawers. There were 2 doors, but the doors had been literally ripped off, the hinges pulled out. We had some broken wood, stripped screw holes where the hinges were. We went in with wood filler, filled those. We even built out the missing piece of wood where the hinge had torn out the wood, and we've used the wood filler to build that back out. We've sanded it, we've cleaned it with our clean slate. Now we're ready to paint. We're going to use our one-step paint, which, as you know, we can go over. We have cleaned this with clean slate, but we do not have to strip it, we do not have to sand it, we do not have to prime it. We are ready to paint, and with our one-step, this color is Italian silver. Italian silver is a very, very, very pale gray color. It looks a little off-white, but yet if you put it against a piece of white, you'll see that it is, you'll see the gray in it. What we're going to do, we're going to paint the interior because we're not putting the doors back. We are going to use woven baskets instead to hold whatever articles we're going to put in there. And we've also gotten some new hardware for our doors. So after we paint our drawers, after we paint the drawers, we will put the new hardware on there. So I've got our wedge brush, and we've stirred the paint up. Something you want to make sure you do when you're painting a piece, you want to always keep mixing it, keep stirring it, because you want to make sure that it continues to stay fluid and doesn't begin drying on the top. I'm going to go to the back here. And the reason I'm starting on the inside is because if I start on the outside and then start working on the inside, I may end up with wet paint all over my clothes. You can see we're getting really nice coverage to be using a light color on top of this darker wood. Notice once I apply a little paint, I start using long strokes to really brush that out, keeping it uniform, making sure there's not any buildup, because if you get buildup on a vertical surface, you're going to get drips. Now we're going to start on the outside. You see we've got a piece of trim here. Now you can use tape and tape off the area under the top where you don't want the paint. But I'm going to try and do this without the tape. Afraid we're gonna have to.
Hey guys, happy Wednesday. First of all, thank you. Y'all are so precious. I absolutely love our tribe. I love how you get as excited as I do. And I imagine some of you are like really bad at a poker face like me because we get so excited. So guess what? Thank you for the hundreds and hundreds of votes on our little oak chest as far as what to paint it. And number one won. So this is the finish that we did over the Italian silver. So I painted my piece in the Italian silver one step. And now I'm going to come back on top of it with the milk paint. And I'm going to show you how to do it. So come on over here. And I think the fun thing is in doing this finish, one, you're going to see how easy it is. And you're also going to see in how working with milk paints, how authentic it looks. You're like, there's no way you could get this finish any other way because you'd be sanding it. And sanding is not a natural way of making something look old. All right, so I'm going to clear this away. Now, I left my hardware off because I am going to be painting the whole thing. The other thing that you're going to notice, look that my piece is laying flat. So when I get ready to paint the sides on my piece over here, I'm not going to be able to paint it vertically. I'm not going to be able to have it up like this. I'm going to have to lay the piece on its side because with working with the milk paint, it's very thin. And the thing that's going to happen, it's going to run very quickly. It's not like the one step or even the miracle paint. The other reason why I'm working with the one step is because it is a very flat, matte finish. All paint is not alike. There are a lot of paint companies out there that are calling it chalky finish or a chalk paint, and basically all it is acrylic paint with a flattening agent in it. And so in order to be able to create these finishes that look like this, you have to be able to start with the right products. So I've got my very flat matte finish of my Italian silver one step. And now I have mixed up my Toscana milk paint. Now, Toscana basically means Tuscany, the region of Tuscany. A lot of people don't know, with my milk paints, I actually fly in all of the pigments with the milk paint that we make these in-house. And I fly all the pigments from Provence. And so they're not synthetic pigments, they're natural pigments that have been cut out of these quarries, and different quarries will have different color palettes. And so when that pigment's gone, it's gone. Like, you can't get any more from it. So the other thing is, working with a very natural pigment that you're gonna see, it's what allows you to be able to do a finish with a milk paint finish, and it looks like it's got 2 or 3 different variations of one color. That also makes it look very authentic. So I mix up 1 part water to 1 part paint. Now, that could be a 1/2 cup of water to a 1/2 cup of powder. Part of the reason why it's in a powder form, it's because once you have milk, what happens to milk when it's setting out? It sours. Casein or milk, they're basically the same thing. A lot of people call this a casein. I call it a milk-based paint. So I mix up how much I need when I'm ready for my project, and then I leave the rest of it in a powder form. In a powder form like this, it never goes bad. So it's good for hundreds of years. So it's just when I make it into a paint, I make up how much I need, and then that way I'll actually put it into the fridge in a little Tupperware container, and I allow it to stay in the fridge for up to 2 weeks. Now, here's the other tip. After you put it in the fridge at night, now if I'm getting ready to do this, like a project, I knew I was going to be painting this today. I didn't put it in my fridge last night because it's good one day by itself. I knew that I was going to use it, because when you put it in the fridge, to be able to keep it fresh, so where it's going to have a shelf life to it, you have to allow it to come down to room temperature to be able to paint well. You don't want to be painting with paint that's really, really cold. So I just left it out overnight, and then when I came in this morning, I just stirred it up around. So I do want you to know this. Look, I mixed up both colors. I mixed up the darker one, and I mixed up the lighter one, and I'll let y'all choose. So everybody, you voted for the number 1. To be quite honest with you, both of these colors would look great. It becomes a personal preference of what you like. So it's 1 cup of paint, 1 cup of paint powder, and 1 cup of water. All right, so I'm going to offload this, and I'm going to start, and I'm going to try to go as far as I can, and then I'm going to flip my brush and then do the other side. Now, look how sheer it is. You're going to notice when you're painting with milk paint, you're like, it's not the same as painting with regular paint. No, it's not. Because it allows you to be able to distress it and get a beautiful patina. Now, I want you to watch something. Hey, as you pop on here, say, hey, tell me where you're tuning in from. And part of the reason why I love doing these lives is because I get to give away stuff. So if you share this video, tag some friends, tell them I'm going to be giving away 3 different lucky people. I'm going to give you a bag of the Central Park milk paint that I'm working with today. So all you have to do is share this video, tag some friends, and it's sharing love. All right, so I want to hook up my hair dryer. So hold on just a second. Let me see if I can plug this in here. No, that's not working. Hey, Gene Howard. Can you come help me get some electricity? Okay, guys, hold on. Now, while he's doing that, get my hair dryer set up. All right, come here. T, let's come with the phone. Come over here. I want to show y'all something while Jean's doing that. All right. Come look at this. Look at our table. I'm going to be giving you an update on this because we're getting ready to go to the next step. But is this not beautiful? It's like, this is a working studio for me to be able to teach you how to do all these projects, but I am so excited about this. So I would like, when I come over here later, when Jean and I start working on it, I'm going to be asking you some questions on color. But I thought I wanted you to be able to see this and how cute it looks. Look at this. They actually bleached it out in the sun, so we were able to let just the regular Clorox bleach from yesterday sit on here, and it's lightened it up. There's really no red left. That's what's exciting. So now we're going to be working with a Better with Age because I want to be able to go into a really, really pale gray color that I can ceruse. I think it's going to be beautiful. All right, so I think I've got a hairdryer now. So let's go back over here. All right, so we're going to dry this because I want you to start to see how the color goes from this lighter color, and you're going to see how the color changes. Part of the beauty in this too is the antiquing process. So I'm holding my hair dryer about 6 inches away. Now, can you start to see this? Do you see the color changing? And again, what have we done? We mixed up our milk paint and we painted it on top of the Italian silver Munster. Because I did not want to put a binder in my milk paint because I wanted to be able to antique it. All right, so I wanted you to see when you're painting it here and how dark it was. And then as it starts to dry, see the color that it goes to. Now, look at this. So I'm gonna set this here, I want you to see. Part of what we loved about this finish was the fact that I can see my base coat under here. That's the Italian silver that I'm seeing. So it's giving me that depth of color that I'm gonna be able to get to this as I antique it. So the other thing that I want you to remember, look at this. When you're looking at the milk paint, when it's in its powder form, this is what color it is gonna be when it dries. When you mix it and you paint it on, see how dark it is? But it's gonna dry back down to the color that you actually had here. That's why when I am making custom colors of milk paint, I will mix it in its dry form so it allows me to be able to see what my color is going to look like. I never mix it wet. A lot of people will do that. They'll say, okay, I'm going to take a little bit of a blue and I'm going to add my water, and then they start adding black. You're not truly going to be able to see what it's going to look like because it's going to go considerably darker when you add water. And you've got about 2 weeks working time after you've added water. So I always test it. Something else, and I probably need to show y'all this, but I have a little scale that I can weigh it. And so that way I can create that color again and again. Those of you that love having a side hustle of painting furniture, it's really great to document your custom colors that you make up. So I'm gonna keep painting. I'm gonna get everything together. I'm gonna get some paint on this, and then I'm gonna go live again because then I'm gonna start showing you how to go through the antiquing process to make this piece look like this piece of trim, and then we'll wax it. So I'll see you in just a little while. Okay, here we go. I know y'all are like, she's at it again, but it's really difficult. As I shared this the other day, it's really difficult when you're wanting to truly learn how to do something, and people are doing these videos that they're so fast and they're just going through and they're not talking about the things to look out for. They're not talking about how you can mess up or what was an issue or what to do. And so my heart's goal in teaching you how to do this on pieces of furniture, that you will learn and you'll see and you'll have these aha moments and you'll go, I get it now. That's why she does that. So anybody that knows me knows that I love milk paint. I love true milk paint. I love true casing. I love true pigment. I don't like synthetic pigments. And a lot of companies, there are a couple out there, and a lot of them, they use synthetic pigments because they're cheaper. Did your mom ever tell you? It's like when you buy synthetic pigments, they're cheaper. the more expensive pure pigments are going to give you the prettiest, richest colors. So that's what we use in our milk paint. Remember, we painted this first with our Italian silver in the one step. Why did I do that? It's because the milk paint does not have a binder in it that is going to hold and grip onto natural wood, because this piece was oak. So it had some bad repair things on it, so I know a lot of purists out there. I love wood. That's why I'm stripping the top of that dining table, but I wanted to be able to paint it. So the Tiger's Eye oak on the top was beautiful, and that's why we did it in a spruce finish. But so with this, we painted the Italian silver one step first. That gave me a beautiful matte finish, and now I'm going to put the milk paint directly on top of it. So look at this. I did 2 coats. You need to lay it down when you're working on it. And I just lightly came back and hit it with some 320 sandpaper, just to be able to get some of the little pebbles out of it. I wanted it to be a little bit softer. And now I'm going to be using my antiquing glaze. So when I'm antiquing, I have 2 containers. I have one with water. This is my bath. And then I have my antiquing glaze. And I'm going to be working with a natural seawool sponge. And so I'm going to immerse it into the water, and every time that I'm doing it, I'm going back and forth, because I don't want my sponge to get loaded up with paint and then I'm going back in my glaze. So I'm rinsing it off and then I go back in my glaze. I'm just going back and forth the whole time. So I'm going to immerse my natural seawool sponge into my glaze. And because I'm working on a vertical surface, a lot of times I would lay this down, but to be able to show you like this today, I'm going to be working on a vertical surface. If you're just getting started, I really would like for you to lay this down on its side, but I want to show you what I'm going to do. So I'm going to basically come in and I'm going to softly start to apply my antiquing glaze. It's a tapping. I don't want this to look spongy, but you're going to see. And I'm literally hitting it with the hairdryer as I'm working my way down. Now, don't worry, this is not going to look like this. I'm going to show you in just a minute what it's going to look like. But basically, working with my hairdryer and this at the same time while I'm doing it, it's kind of stopping it from it dripping too much. And I'm going to work my way. I'm going to work my way around my piece, and then I'll go into the inside. The other thing is I try to move around, and look how with my sponge, I'm kind of rolling it. And I'll have to come back in here kind of tight, but please be ever so careful that you're not pulling it. It's just, I'm just tapping it. And I don't have to be pulling off paint. What this is going to do, it's going to give me a variance of color that you're going to see, and you're going to go, I had no idea, Amy. So now I've got a runaway drip. I'm just coming back in and folding that, and I'm going to hit it. Here's the other thing. If I take off too much paint, all I have to do is come back and add some more. So now I want to show you, let's go around to the front. I want to show you something. Look at this. Can you see this? I want to turn this light around because I want you to be able to see it. This is the part down here that I antiqued. When it dries down, you saw when it was lighter, it looks, when it looks darker when it wets, but when it dries back down, it goes very subtle again. So what it does, it gives you this variance. You've got some that are lighter, some that are darker, and you can never get this look with sandpaper, ever, never, ever. The only way to be able to get this kind of depth is with the milk paint over the one step and then antique it. So let's look at the difference. Let's look down here. Now let's look up here. This has the wax on it. Now I want to show you. I'm going to be using my light wax. This has a little bit of beeswax in it. If you could smell it, if we had smell-o-vision, it has a great smell to it. I'm going to offload it. You never want to go directly from your wax onto your piece. Now watch. I want you to see, look how darker that gets. See how the richness of that? Look how I'm staying away from the center of this fluting. because I love the depth that that gives me. So on my edges with my wax, which this is gonna stay this way. This isn't gonna dry down and go away. I'm gonna have this variance of color, so I'll work my way around. That's why the waxing part of this is just as important as the antiquing part. So I'm gonna add just a little bit more wax. Hey guys, as you pop on here, say hey, tell me where you're tuning in from. And this chest, I think it's gonna be a darling little piece. I think, I don't know if a lot of you know, but we got this piece for $12.50. And it's gonna have the sweetest little finish. All right, so watch how I go this way. Now, here's the other thing. The fastest way that you can ruin your project is 2-inch wax. It's so, so important. When I talk about the amount of wax that's on here, it's very little. So it's better to go lighter and go darker, and you can add more. If this is loaded up and really wet, you don't have as much control over it. And when I see a lot of projects, they've ruined it by too much wax. So let's offload it on cardboard or a piece of wood or something to where you've got very little. So that way you can get this look. Look at the difference between here and here. This has no wax, this has wax. So now I'm gonna come in, there's such little wax on here, and I'm going across it. Now, the other thing that's on this one, so this is just the light wax. This is the light wax and the dark wax. So I'm gonna come back. These, we always joke, these guys are married. This is Gina and I. They get along really well. And this can of dark wax should last me a year if I'm painting a lot of furniture. That's how little you need to use of this. So I'm gonna offload it. So that way I'm gonna come down here and look at this. I'm just gonna feather it. Look at that. See how little? And I'm primarily staying around the area of this here. And I may get just a little darker on my edge. But look how I'm brushing that. I am not going to put anything down in here because I love the depth that that gives me and just that beautiful matte finish. I can come up in here and I may darken it just a little. But that's it. So while it's tack, I may come back and add just a little bit of Dust of the Ages. I'm gonna let that sit and then I'm gonna buff it. So I'm gonna keep working on this piece, but I was at a point, I was like, I wanna show you how to antique it, how to be able to go in, have a little bit of depth of the light color, and then be able to add your light wax and your dark wax. This is gonna be absolutely darling. And I think you're gonna start to see how using any chalk-based paint will never allow you to be able to get this kind of depth and interesting finish without any sandpaper at all. It's really quite yummy. That's when I talk about, I use words like spicy and yummy, and it's an analogy with food, which is something that I want to tell you, and you may not know this. When working with the milk paints, this is as close to shopping in the produce aisle of any other paint. It has no VOCs, and I'm asthmatic, so it's like it's hard for me when I start getting around things. Milk paint never bothers me. So it has no VOCs. It's so easy to work with, and it's one of the ways you're going to get the most authentic looking finishes. So I'm going to keep working. I'll hop back on here and show you my progress in just a little while. Mwah. Okay. Is this so fun? I don't know. I need to wait a few minutes. I want you all to be able to have time to pop on here. I don't know who it was yesterday, but they made a comment. They were like, when my phone like beeps and that Amy's doing a live, they think it's a popsicle man. Y'all remember that when you were kids and the popsicle man would come with that bell down the street? So I'm gonna give just a minute. I want you to be able to pop on here because I want you to see these unveiling, it's like I can't paint fast enough. I can't antique fast enough because I want you to be able to see it. Hey, Larry. Hey, Joe. Hey, as you pop on here, say hey. Tell me where you're tuning in from. Are you ready for the reveal? Hey, Carol. All right, so here's the deal, guys. You got to share this video. I know, Chantel, yay! You got to share this video. Guys, when I'm talking to you, here's where I want you to, here's where I want you to get. I want you to go, I'm going to finally do this. I'm going to do what she just did because it's so easy. I'm taking you through the whole steps. And the texture, the depth of the finish, the color is yummy. And remember, I did Italian silver and I did my Central Park Milk Paint on top. I showed you how to antique it. I showed you how to wax it. We did put on some new hardware, but $12.50 was what I paid for this chest that we thrifted. And it was because the doors were broken off. But I don't want you to think about the doors being broken off. What did we do? We filled the holes and we just painted over them and put baskets in. So are you ready for the reveal? Drum roll. Gene Howard, drum roll. Okay, I'm gonna turn around this way. Are we ready? Hold on. Ta-da! Look, look. Look at the finish. Is it not yummy? Look at this finish. When I tell y'all I've got a light on it and it's just a little bit harsher, look at it. Look, 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 look. Thanks, Joe. Look at this. Look, look, look. Guys, now, if you saw this on an antique piece in a shop, would you not think it was old? Look at this. Don't you love? Great job, guys. Great job. Look at this. Look at the top. Remember, it was Tiger's Oak. Now, go back a couple of weeks ago when I bought this piece. And we have done videos taking you all the way through. But we just sanded the top. We used the Amy Howard at Home cerusing wax on the top. And that really complemented the color. Maggie, thank you. I'm like a little kid. I'm like a little kid seeing this. Now look at this. See, look at the detail. See how we came back and we antiqued it? Now here's like a little tip. Look at that. I want to come back. I wished you could see it in person. Thank you, Jules. Hey, Joni. Jeannie, hey Karen. The texture that you see of the finish and the depth really complements the top. The top, it is so pretty. And now it's very utilitarian. Here's the other thing. I'm not going to paint the inside blue because I think that it's really going to be prettier with having that neutrality to it. But I just love the color. I think y'all did a great job picking out a really pretty color. Hey, Megan. Hey, girl. But it's just adorable. I'm going to be taking some pictures of it. I want you to be able to see because I want you to do this yourself. But share this video. Share this video. Tag some friends. And guess what? We're going to be giving this away. So if you share the video and tag 3 friends, your name will go in for a drawing, and we're going to be giving this chest away to the lucky winner to be able to use in your home. That would just make me so incredibly happy. But it turned out so pretty, and this is why I want you to use Milk Paint. It's just yummy. So share this video, tag 3 friends. Thank you, Mitzi. And just know that you can create some beautiful finishes like this as well to be able to use in your home with a $12.50 piece of furniture. There's nothing more fun. I love how somebody said, I love watching paint dry. I love when I get to a point of being able to wax it. It makes it so fun, and I'm just so proud. So thank y'all so much for being on this journey of my little $12.50 chest. And I can't wait. We're going to keep working on our dining table. We've got so many great projects. But here's the deal. It's time for you to enjoy the bragging rights. Love you guys.